Hi guys, and welcome back. So we're just going to get directly into it. The skins that they had put out, the Chinese New Year skins that they had put out and were trying to promote, have been removed from the update. We did it. We screamed loud enough. There was amazing memes throughout the past 7 days, and we got these horrible skins taken out of the game. The one upside was that there was one good digital skin that was actually put out, but sadly they had said that it's either all of them or none of them, but they have quote unquote taken the feedback that that was a good skin. And as luck would have it, playing today and getting through stuff, we actually found somebody with the skin while in game. So they did not actually completely remove it. People were actually able to apply the skin somehow, and here's a small clip from that. He has the skin.
Yeah, half your skin.
Yeah.
Half your skin is fucking...
Yeah, look, that's the skin they said they weren't going to put in, and he has it.
I don't know.
Do you not see that on your screen?
Are we the good guys?
See, like red, yeah.
Yeah, you got the gift wrap on it.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Trader, bro?
So the whole reason why I waited until today to actually make this video is because I only assumed the backlash was going to be horrible. If you look through YouTube, if you look through any of the more known Insurgency players, Gibbs, Six Snipes, Drewski I think was in there too, everybody was pissed about it. Everybody said this was a horrible way to go about this. And it really was. It was just, it was bad. The skins were bad. 100% bad. That Fortnite meme, that was spot on. It was just an insult to the Insurgency player base that has come to like a more realistic, boots on the ground kind of approach to things. And it was horrible. Now comes the other part of the huge controversy that they have right now. And honesty, it just destroys the longevity of the game, in my opinion, is they have now removed competitive from the playlist queue. We look here, and you can see now, there's no competitive. They've taken it out of the public eye, we'll never know about it. So why is this a big deal? When Insurgency first came out, it was promoted to have a competitive gameplay. I moved over from CSGO because I needed something new. I wanted something where you could actually aim down sight and something that was a bit more realistic instead of, doing an S with my mouse in order to control my AK. I just wanted something more grown up and less video gamey, and this was my solution. Me and my buddy put in 250 hours in the first 2-3 months of release solely playing competitive. We knew this was a competitive game, but they've gone ahead and decided to take it out. They said here with 1.9.1, we've decided to remove competitive official ranked matchmaking from the play menu. We understand this change could be upsetting to our competitive players, but we feel that this is our best for the game going forward. That's pretty much a lie. That could not be the best thing moving forward at all whatsoever, given how competitive games are the most played games right now. And they go on to say it had a low player population. This is correct. I can't deny that. It really does. This is especially a problem for us because it meant new players who decide to try a competitive experience on boot up will essentially be stuck, confused, and annoyed. NWI, from the very beginning, from the first month of release, we said, implement a level requirement for competitive. You never listened. You only listen when the shouting is loud enough that your money may be impacted. We could see it. We could see new players, fresh installs. I'm not talking level 10s or something like that. We saw that too. I'm talking level 0s in competitive months after release. We saw these people. There is a reason that Rainbow Six, there's a reason that Overwatch and all of these other actual competitive games have level requirements before you jump into competitive. Because if you boot up a game for the very first time and say, hey, I'm going to go into competitive, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a really bad time, especially in Insurgency. Insurgency is not, something you just get into and you know how to play it, like team deathmatch. And on the other side of it, nobody knows how to play Firefight. Unless you have played Insurgency 2014, the likelihood that you've played Firefight and know how Firefight works is slim to none that you'll figure out literally your first round or your first game into competitive. There's no tutorial for Firefight at all. The description for Firefight is so vague that you basically have no idea what you're doing. The only other two modes that you have for PvP are self-explanatory. Push, you push through the modes. Frontline, it's tug of war. I still have people messaging me about how the hell they could decide to turn their back on competitive. You guys dropped the ball on this one. You really did. Because competitive gameplay is what makes a game thrive. And really quickly, I wanted to put this up here. This is the top viewed games on Twitch right now. Just chatting, don't know, Minecraft, PvE, it's very fun. League of Legends, competitive. Fortnite, arguably competitive. Counter-Strike, competitive. Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't know what people do in this game. Warzone, competitive. Apex Legends, competitive. Valorant, competitive. Dota 2, Valorant. FIFA 21, competitive? Question mark? Escape from Tarkov, huge stream ability. Chess, literally how ELO was made, competitive. I don't know what's up with World of Warcraft. I don't know what's up with Rust. Rainbow Six Siege, competitive. Hearthstone, competitive. Path of Exile is kind of like World of Warcraft. Dead by Daylight, arguably competitive. I don't know what Wolf Team is. I assume it sounds like competitive. Teamfight Tactics also sounds like it could possibly be competitive. Rocket League, incredibly competitive. Overwatch, incredibly competitive. Super Mario 64, probably a speedrunner. PUBG, competitive. Are you seeing a trend here, NWI? Do you see what I'm trying to get at here? It's what does more than just simply keeping the lights on. And now that they've decided to turn their back away from a versus standpoint and move over towards looking into co-op, they want to focus solely on a PvE experience, where we're not going to see the player base grow. We may see random upticks when, the game goes on sale, but ultimately, due to no reason to grind besides these cosmetics right here that you basically never get to see, only other people see it, this right here is the only reason to grind out, and then your ranking badge when you're in game. And then if you grind too much, and even at 300, I'll have people call me out in game and be like, oh wow, this game is really unbalanced because you guys have a rank 300 on your team. And if anybody's seen my stream, I can be a potato. I die too. I die a lot. So there's no reason to get good anymore. Why would you want to? There's no competitive. You can't put your skill up against somebody else's. So that's out. And from the very beginning, competitive suffered. In the very beginning, like month one of release, it suffered because it had horrible performance issues. I'm talking Firefight, the smallest maps that they have, and you were getting frame rate stutters. The game would lock up for a second or two when you were firing. It was bad. It was really bad, okay? And I agree. In the beginning, they should have been focusing on performance. The performance took too long to get here, okay? It took a year or two after release for them to finally iron out those performance issues. And now that they're ironed out, I have people coming into my stream and ask me, how the hell do you get the game to run so good, and how does it get so buttery smooth? It works. It plays great now. And that was one of the biggest complaints of all the competitive people. So if you would have actually listened, instead of, quote unquote, listening to the community, but as we can see from this past update, you only listen to the community when there's a huge uproar. You're not actually listening to the community. You only listen when you fuck up so bad that you have to pull back your decision. In the past 2 updates, you've had to pull back a decision. You had to pull back the PvE decision in order to, quote, make the transition to PvP easier. You pulled back on that. And now you're had to pull back on these god-awful skins. Whoever has made these decisions the past 2 patches needs to take a back seat. I don't know if these are the new suits from Saber Interactive, if they're the ones pulling all this stuff and saying to do these things, but whoever's made this decision, you need to tell them in the meeting room this morning, because we all know that you guys are going to be having that Zoom call. I remember them. You need to tell them to take a back seat. They cannot be making these decisions because they are hurting you, NWI. They hurt you every single time. And more people lose faith in the game. So, with the removal of competitive, you see the loss of Twitch viewers. You see the loss of going up in any kind of popularity. And now we're looking at a strictly PvE focused game. Why is this bad? Because if you're playing co-op through here, you're literally playing the worst co-op experience you can find. Okay? Nobody that I know plays vanilla co-op anymore. Because literally, if we go into the community servers, if the server browser works, we can actually see, look at all of this. Checkpoint, hardcore checkpoint, hardcore checkpoint, okay? These guys are all playing PvE already. But guess what? They're doing it with the ISMC mod. They're doing it with the ISMC mod, high bot count. They're doing it the way that they want to do it. The vanilla co-op experience seems so irrelevant now. I never play the vanilla co-op because there's the ISMC stuff, and it looks really low right now, but also the servers haven't had time to update yet with the new update. But it still drives the point home that the co-op players already have it good. They have it made. They get all the maps, the mapping contest, even though there's only going to be 1, maybe 2 thrown into the vanilla rotation. The community maps, they're not going to care. They're going to throw all of them in there. They're going to get all of those maps, regardless. But the vanilla people who come through here are only going to get like 1 or 2. So why in the world do you have a co-op game mode specifically? What is the point of this? There is no point to this when literally the community is so far ahead of you in terms of content and maps that competitive was your only venue forward, realistically speaking. Because surviving is not living, and I wanted this game to thrive. So around this point in the video, I started really ripping into NWI, getting really pessimistic, and just looking at Sandstorm in a very dark view. And I really don't want to do that. I don't want to put it off because the reality of the situation is people love this game. People really fucking love your game, NWI. And with Operation Cold Blood, you put out skins that were really good. You gave us operators that looked really good. And it looked like things were going to be turning around. With you putting out 2 different updates and having to pull back on 2 different decisions that somebody in that meeting said, you know what, that's a great idea. And then you put it out there and then you have to take it back. That looks really bad. And lots of people have lost faith that you guys are going to continue with the identity of Insurgency and instead move it closer to a more Call of Duty colorful point of view. And the thing that I've found out from talking to everybody is nobody wants to go that direction. But everybody agrees that the game is awesome. I've talked to people that are wanting to move away from Insurgency now, and the problem is that there's nowhere else to move to. The game that you made is incredibly unique. It gives us something that the competitive scene is missing right now, which is a completely new competitive game. The PvE vanilla experience is not worth putting your time and effort into because the community, the ISMC, the modders are taking care of that part. It seems like this is going to be another decision where you guys have made the decision, but in all honesty, it's going to hurt you more than anything. Because, as I showed you before, the top Twitch, it's mostly competitive. People like that. People are not going to watch anything on Twitch that's PvE related. They're just not. And also, people don't want to watch domination streams. They just don't. I never stream domination because it's boring. It just is. I feel like my words here aren't really going to go anywhere because the decision is already made to pull back competitive and to pull away from the one thing that seemed to be the most viable to make money, which is a competitive game. But I really hope someone is listening and hears that we do love your game and that the decisions that you're making are hurting your game and hurting your identity, and we don't want that because we love the game and we want the player base to grow. But when you make decisions like this, rash decisions and bad decisions for a modern military shooter, like the decisions we just saw with these skins, you're not going to blow up anytime soon.